Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all doing great this evening or whatever time it is in your part of the world. Going to be doing another review today. Now this is another French horror film, but it's one of the more recent French horror films that have just come out. So it has a lot to live up to if it's going to match Inside and Martyrs and films like that have pretty much set the standard in French horror. So I went into this one with pretty high expectations. Didn't quite meet all the expectations, but it wasn't a bad film. But anyway, this is made in 2009, directed by Abel Ferry, and this is High Lane. Now, this is set in Croatia. There is a group of friends from France who are in Croatia for a vacation, and they're daredevils. They like rock climbing. And so they come to this mountain in Croatia, and they realise that it's been closed for repairs. But this doesn't stop them. They're daredevils, as I said, and they decide to push on anyway. So we've got 5 characters in this group. Now there's one of the guys who's a leader. He's like the know-all. He's the expert. He knows what to do. His girlfriend is also an expert at rock climbing. Well, I wouldn't say expert, but they're the more experienced ones out of the group. So they're very much the leaders. And then there's another couple who are very new to rock climbing. The boyfriend is scared of heights. Don't ask me why someone who's scared of heights decides to go on a rock climbing um, vacation, but he does anyway. And there's the girlfriend, and there's also the ex-boyfriend who tags along. And there's a bit of tension between the ex-boyfriend and the current boyfriend for the attention of this girl. So there's a little bit of a triangle going on there, which adds a little bit more to the story. So these 5 friends, they go up this mountain where they really shouldn't be, and this kind of reminded me of The Descent in a little bit. Obviously, they're different movies, but it's the same kind of thing. They shouldn't be there, but they decide to go ahead anyway, just for the thrill. So they go to this mountain, and the reason why they're up this mountain is because they've heard of this very famous bridge called the Devil's Bridge. And it's from one cliff face to another. It's about 100 meters long, and it's very, very high up, so it's a dangerous kind of walk. But they've come here just for that, so they're not going to leave until they've walked the bridge. So they walk the bridge, things go wrong, and they're stranded on this mountain, and no one knows they're there because they shouldn't be there because it's been closed off. So they've found themselves in quite a difficult position. And to make matters worse, they're not alone on this mountain. It's home of a psychotic Croatian weirdo who doesn't like the fact that he's got company, and he starts picking them off one by one. So it kind of turns into a slasher. Now, my thoughts on the film. The first 40 minutes, the rock climbing scenes were absolutely fantastic. It's one of the best uh, made films I've ever seen. I don't say that lightly either. The rock climbing scenes were absolutely breathtaking. Now, I myself, I'm scared of heights, and I start to sweat if I'm too high up. And I started to sweat watching this movie. It's just how well it was shot. There's some really, really nerve-wracking moments in this film. Uh, I'm almost willing to recommend this film just for the first 40 minutes because it's amongst the best kind of adventure sort of films that I've seen. The director, really, really good eye for scenery, and he just shot these rock climbing scenes absolutely perfectly. Now, where I've got the biggest problem with this film is when the slasher side of the film starts. The villain is this lonely Croatian guy. He lacked a bit of imagination. He wasn't really menacing enough, although he was a psycho. He just didn't look. Oh, he didn't really have an intimidating sort of presence, and I think that hurt the film a little bit. And there's no real imagination to the actual slasher part of the film. Now, um, yeah, the tension that the first 40 minutes brought up was it kind of let it go towards the end when the guy starts killing them off. And so it's gone from being a great movie to a good movie. If you're expecting, although it's a French horror film, if you're expecting brutality like Inside, Martyrs, High Tension, and Frontiers, you may be a little bit disappointed with this one because compared to those films, This one is a little bit tame. Um, no inventive deaths. The gore is there, but it's not excessive. It's pretty soft. If I'm comparing it to the usual sort of French standard. The characters, the acting was good. The lead character, the lead actress, was actually quite attractive, and she was actually a pretty good actress. Her name is Fanny Valletta, so she did a really good job. Or Fanny Valletta, I can't pronounce it anyway. She did a good job, but the guy who plays the boyfriend of, I don't know what his name was, but his character's name was Loic. He was really annoying, but still didn't want to see bad things happen to him. They were really young, this group, so that's kind of an excuse for some of their behaviour. They were a little bit immature, but yeah, I guess that adds to the realism a bit. But yeah, it was an okay film. I was let down by the last sort of half of it, but no, the first 40 minutes really made it. It's definitely a film I'm not going to recommend to everyone. I can see a lot of people disliking this film, but yeah, if you're a mad kind of French horror fan like I am, it's definitely a worthy addition. But just don't expect too much. Don't expect it to be like the other films that I've reviewed from the French horror scene. It definitely doesn't live up to those films, but on its own, it's a reasonable film. I mean, the slasher part of it wasn't horrible. It just didn't match up to the first half of the film, so yeah. But as far as the DVD goes, now, this is an Australian release, and it's just, you see the disc there. It is an absolutely horrible DVD. Now, I say that because on the menu screen, you have a choice of playing it in the original French language with English subtitles, or the English dubbed version, and that's all. There's no scene selection, there's no extra features, there's no trailers. It's just really, really bare bones. So I was a bit disappointed with that as well. I would have liked to see how they made it, or just get a little bit more knowledge on the making of, and but yeah, it's just really, really bare boned. It's just the movie, really. I recommend you see it in the original French language because the dub is horrendous. It took a lot out for me. When I saw this in the original French language, it was much, much better. The acting was much better. So you're better off just watching it with English subtitles because, yeah, it brings a lot more to the film. So that's my review of the 2009 horror film High Lane, directed by Abel Ferré. Not the greatest French horror film out there, but definitely one that you should rent before you buy because either you're going to love it or you're going to hate it. Yeah, it's definitely not up to the standard of recent French horror films, but yeah, it's watchable, and I'd recommend it to die-hard kind of French horror fans. Alright guys, that was my review. Hope you liked it, and I'll see you later. Bye.